Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Nathan and today I'm going to be ranking the best player from all 31 NHL teams. Now with this year's NHL season, at least when it comes to the regular season potentially being over, I thought this was a great time to rank the best NHL players on all 31 teams. So who do I see as the best players right now in the National Hockey League, and which players do I see as the best on their respective teams? Watch till the end for all my rankings and opinions, and of course hit that subscribe button if you're new. Now we're going to start out with the Anaheim Ducks and my best player being John Gibson. And John Gibson to me is still one of the better goaltenders in the league, and he had a really rough year, only had a .904 save percentage, but Anaheim's defense is really not all that great. You have all the guys they traded in the past like Shea Theodore, and besides Hampus Lindholm and Josh Manson, defensively that defense is not all that great. He has to work with guys like Harbanian Holzer in the past, and guys like Michael Del Zotto. So, although he didn't have the greatest year, I'm going to give him another chance next year because last year, the season before in 2019, he was absolutely incredible. Now going to the Arizona Coyotes and their best player right now, I'm going to go with Darcy Kuemper. Now Kuemper has been absolutely unbelievable the past couple of seasons. Last year in 2019 had a .925 save percentage, and this year had a .928 save percentage. If he was actually healthy, he would likely win the Vezina Trophy. It was only due to injuries that he didn't get up to that level, but in the games that he's played, he's been incredible for Arizona and has been their MVP. And now going to the Boston Bruins and their best player right now, I'm going to go with my boy David Pastrnak. Now 95 points so far in 70 regular season games just explains it. But you also have so many other good players on Boston that you can include Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron, guys like Tuukka Rask too. There's a lot of great players on that team, but to me Pasta is the best right now, and especially offensively is the best goal scorer potentially in the league. Now going on to the Buffalo Sabres, and it really is no debate, it is Jack Eichel. But one stat is really telling. Since the 2018 season, Jack Eichel doesn't just lead the Sabres in points, he dominates it with 224. The closest guy is Sam Reinhart with 165 points. So I think it's pretty fair to say that Jack Eichel, one, is pretty good at hockey, and the rest of Buffalo is very much not. Now going on to the Calgary Flames, and to me it was between Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau, but to me it just provides the edge for Matthew Tkachuk. Right now in terms of overall play and what he provides, he is the Calgary Flames MVP for how he gets under the skin of so many players and can score at will also. Had 61 points in 69 nice games, and just this season was an absolute beast. I'm a big fan of Matthew Tkachuk, love his game, and the offense is also what puts him up. But a big reason that he is here is because of his overall play, his ratness, his defensive ability, the complete package that he brings. And now moving on to the bunch of jerks, and it's almost a three-way tie for them. There is a lot of different great players on that team, but I'm going to give the edge to Sebastian Aho with my pick. 66 points in 68 games this year, and it's just been a beast over the last 3 years for Carolina. But honestly, it's almost a three-way tie because you got Dougie Hamilton, who has had one of the best years of his entire career, and you also got Andrei Svechnikov, who, yes, is very young, but is already one of the better wingers in the entire league, and when it comes to Russian players, is already one of the best. Even though Aho wins, there's a lot of great players on Carolina, so having another choice, I wouldn't exactly blame you. And now on to the Chicago Blackhawks, and I think it's pretty much no debate, it is Patrick Kane. I mean, there might have been some if they actually kept Robin Lehner like they should have, but no, they had to trade him for like a second-round pick in Malcolm Subban. So yeah, Patrick Kane is pretty good at hockey, and he's pretty good still for Chicago. And now on to the Colorado Avalanche and their best player, and I think it's kind of obvious, right? Obviously, it is Pavel Franco. Just kidding, it's Nathan MacKinnon. At 93 points in 69 nice games, the second closest guy is Cale Makar with 50 points. That is a 43-point difference for Nathan MacKinnon. And yeah, he's already one of the most valuable players in the league, and he just continues to prove that every single year in the NHL throughout his whole career. And now going on to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and for Columbus, they don't exactly have a superstar player, so it wasn't that obvious of a pick, but it was between Seth Jones and Pierre-Luc Dubois for me, and I went with Seth Jones. Now, as a Texas-born man, I love to see hockey players come from Texas, and Seth Jones is the man in that respect. From Arlington, baby, let's go. But over the past 3 years, Seth Jones has been one of the most solid and consistent defensemen out there. But we're going to move on to my favorite team, the Dallas Stars, and we're going to get to another goaltender in today's list, that being Ben Bishop. When it comes to save percentage over the last 3 years, there is one goaltender that's played over 100 games that has a better save percentage than Ben Bishop's .923, that being Darcy Kuemper. And we've already talked about him and how he's pretty good at hockey too. And Ben Bishop is one of the reasons why they were in a playoff spot throughout this year, throughout last year, even throughout the year before that. Ben Bishop is a Dallas Stars, and that reigns true over his career here. And now on to the Detroit Red Wings, and I just don't know what to say. It's Dylan Larkin, but I'm just sad for Detroit. I mean, he got 53 points in 71 games. That's still very good. Dylan Larkin is good. Tyler Bertuzzi is good. Anthony Mantha, very good. But then I look at the rest of the team, and that doesn't even matter. So, at least you have Dylan Larkin, I guess. And now on to the Edmonton Oilers, and honestly, it's Connor McDavid, but Leon Draisaitl is also pretty good. So, he's worth mentioning too. Although James Neal is making a pretty good case for that spot. Just saying. Now going on to the Florida Panthers, and this one is one that I have been debating for a very long time, but it's been continually noticed by me personally that I need to pick this player, that being Jonathan Huberdeau. And you might be saying, Grav, why didn't you pick friggin' Barkov, who's right there? Well, when we look at Barkov, he has 62 points in 66 games compared to Huberdeau's 78 in 69 games. Now, Barkov, he has the, I guess, the stereotype of being great at defense. He hasn't been great at defense since like 2017, and that's been evident in the advanced stats. He has just not been trying all that hard in defense. He's been focusing on the offense, and the offense has gotten worse this season. And now on to the LA Kings, and just like the Detroit Red Wings, there is not many options, but I do want to give an honorable mention to Alex Iafallo for being pretty good this season. 43 points in 70 games, but Anze Kopitar is still my pick. 62 points in 70 games, again, like 19 points more than Iafallo, who's second in Kings scoring. Kopitar is still pretty good at hockey, and even though he's on a bad LA team, is still somehow finding ways to score points. And to that, I respect it. And now on to the Minnesota Wild and their best player in 2020. I'm gonna go with Kevin Fiala. Now, Kevin Fiala wouldn't have been my pick if we did this in like November, but since that point has been absolutely amazing. Had 54 points in 64 games, and just since the start of 2020 was one of the best players on the entire planet. Now, I do want to give an honorable mention to Jared Spurgeon because he's also very good when healthy, but Kevin Fiala offensively is a breath of fresh air for everything for the Wild. And now on to the Montreal Canadiens and their best player right now. I'm going to give the nod to Brendan Gallagher. Now, to me, Brendan Gallagher is one of my favorite players in the entire league, so I do have bias here. But in terms of overall play, there's very few forwards out there that bring the level of intensity that Brendan Gallagher brings. Now, in 59 games, he was able to get 43 points and played like 10 less games than Max Domi, but was only a point behind him. Again, when healthy, absolute beast on the puck and does everything you'd want to see in a winger. And now on to the Nashville Predators, and my pick is going to be Roman Josi. One of the better defensemen in the league, but in terms of the model being consistent and over the past 3 seasons being great, Roman Josi has been the definition of greatness. And although I don't think he's a top defenseman, I don't think he's the #1 defenseman in the league, he could potentially win the Norris Trophy this season. And again, when you factor in the great offensive play and the very solid defense that has been getting better, especially this year, that's a player that is an MVP for Nashville, and to me, their best player. Now going on to the New Jersey Devils and their best player, and it kind of is a 3-way tie for me personally. You have Kyle Palmieri and Nikita Gusev, 2 excellent players, but to me in terms of pure value and maybe even being the best player on the New Jersey Devils right now, in my personal opinion, it is Mackenzie Blackwood. Now, it isn't just this season, he has been good before, but this season kind of solidified for me that he is their most valuable player, but also I think maybe their best player right now. A .915 save percentage on a pretty bad bad defense for New Jersey. Now going on to the New York Islanders and their best player right now, I'm going to give the nod to Matthew Barzal. Now Barzal might not be the most consistent player on New York, but in terms of high-end skill and potential, Barzal is definitely the best on that team. Already is eating up a ton of minutes, has 60 points in 68 games, and although I think there is another gear that Matthew Barzal can bring, on the goaltenders, both Semyon Varlamov and Greiss were very solid this year. To me, Barzal just brings so much to that team. It's a pretty complete team. There's a lot of even level playing field, especially on the defense. There's not one defenseman that is easily better than the rest. It's a very even team. But to me, Matthew Barzal is the best player on the Islanders. Oh my goodness, Matthew Barzal. I'm gonna get roasted for that, aren't I? Anyways, I'm gonna move on to the New York Rangers. We're gonna move on from Matthew Barzal and on to New York, and my best player for the Rangers is Artemi Panarin. I mean, there to me is no other answer. Even though Zibanejad is freaking amazing, I love him. To me, Artemi Panarin is one of the best wingers, if not the best winger in the entire NHL right now. To me, he just brings so much value and so much goatness. It just radiates from his bones. But yeah, bones. We'll go with that. And now we're going to move on to the Ottawa Senators, and to me it is a two-way tie between Thomas Chabot and Brady Tkachuk. And even though Tkachuk is freaking amazing, I am going to give the edge to Thomas Chabot in this. Had an excellent offensive season, 39 points in 71 games, but as an offensive generator was great for Ottawa, and also made some big improvements defensively. At points for the last couple years, he hasn't been up to a great level, but now he's getting a lot better and a lot more consistent, which is huge for Ottawa's future. And now going on to the Philadelphia Flyers, and there was a lot of options here, but I am going to go with Sean Couturier. Now, Travis Konecny is one of my favorite players in the league, and he's awesome, but in terms of bringing offense and defense in a complete package, there's very few centers out there that are better than Couturier right now. Now, Barkov gets a lot of praise for being good defensively, but Couturier has been good defensively and actually consistently since like 2017 too, and has actually been good defensively. On top of that, 59 points in 69 games, not bad whatsoever, and in my opinion, pretty nice too. Now going on to the Pittsburgh Penguins and their best player, and it still is Sidney Crosby, but I am going to give an honorable mention to Malkin as well. 74 points in 55 games, absolutely amazing. But Crosby also 47 points in 41 games. He's still Sidney Crosby, so he is still one of the best players in the National Hockey League. Now moving on to the San Jose Sharks and my best player from San Jose, and there wasn't many options, especially factoring how well they played this season, because not a lot of Sharks played all that well this season, but I am going to give it to Logan Couture. I was going to go Erik Karlsson, but again, factoring in this year, he wasn't all that great. Even though I'm the biggest EK fan out there, he was not all that amazing. Couture was still very solid, although very inconsistent. I still think was San Jose's best player, and over the last few years, offensively, has been one of the better centers across the entire NHL. Now going on to the St. Louis Blues and the Blues, the Stanley Cup defending team still at this point. Their best player to me is Alex Pietrangelo. Now, Ryan O'Reilly was a pretty close second option in terms of great two-way play. He's one of the best centers in the league. But to me, Alex Pietrangelo is one of the top defensemen in terms of great offensive ability and being an amazing shutdown defenseman. He's a guy that over the years, especially consistently when he is healthy, has been an absolute madman out there. And in terms of suppressing shots, suppressing chances, Alex Pietrangelo is an absolute beast. Now going on to the Tampa Bay Lightning and their best player, I'm going to go with Nikita Kucherov. Now Tampa is obviously my second favorite team, but they're a weird team this year because obviously they had the bad stretch to start out and then they just got absolutely amazing after that December mark. They're a team though that I still think is around Kucherov, and with 85 points in 68 games compared to the second place spot with Stamkos, it was 66 points. I think it's pretty fair to say that Nikita Kucherov is the man offensively, and although a lot of that is on the power play, he is still pretty good at hockey, and offensively is still amazing. And now going on to the Toronto Maple Leafs and their best player, and there's a lot of good players on Toronto, but to me it is Auston Matthews. 80 points in 70 games, 47 goals, one of the best goal scorers across the entire NHL, and there will be people that say, oh, the defense is bad, and then they'll end up picking Mitch Marner like he's any better defensively. Stop that. That is not true. My second place vote would honestly maybe be William Nylander, especially comparing this season if we're factoring in that a ton, but to me it is still Auston Matthews. When it comes to points, when it comes to scoring, if he's on fire, usually Toronto is on fire too. Not literally, but figuratively. And now moving on to the Vancouver Canucks, and just like Toronto, they have a lot of good players to choose from. You could go with JT Miller, Jacob Markstrom, but to me it's between two players, that being Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes. Now, Quinn Hughes, I decided to be as an honorable mention, I guess, because he just has not played that much hockey over the last 3 years, only this season, obviously, but in the hockey he has played, has been a savior for that Canucks defense. And then you have Elias Pettersson, 66 points in 68 games. Although the offensive stats aren't like 100 points per season, the defense goes very underrated when it comes to Pettersson. Now going on to my third favorite team, the Vegas Golden Knights, and their best player, to me it does go to Mark Stone. Now, Shea Theodore, I think, would be a second option, one of the most underrated defenseman in the entire league, but Mark Stone, in terms of offensive generation, is one of the best wingers in the league. Although he won't score you 120 points, he'll be super valuable, super energetic, which once again, like Brendan Gallagher, is exactly what you want in your wingers. Now going on to the Washington Capitals and their best player, it's Ovi. It's Alex Ovechkin. I don't even know if I need to explain this one. All I have to put up is 48 goals this year. Yeah, Alex Ovechkin. He's still pretty good at hockey, I would say. Just a bit. Now going on to the Winnipeg Jets and their best player, the final team here today, and some people will point to the forwards like Shifley and Connor, which they are both great players, but to me, Connor Hellebuyck is not just the most valuable player, possibly when it comes to goaltenders in the entire league, but one of the best goaltenders in the league right now. Now, last year was not all that great, but this year more than makes up for it. He was absolutely brilliant this year, somehow able to finish with a .920 save percentage with how many shots he faced and a horrible defense was still absolutely amazing. And that alone does not get enough credit. But there you go. Those are all the players and all the teams. Anaheim all the way down to the Winnipeg Jets. So of course, with this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Comment down below your thoughts on my picks, what you agree and disagree with, and also let me know who you think are the best players for every team in the league or your favorite team as well. And of course, share this video with your friends, get the picks out there, boys, and click on this card right here to watch all of my predictions and picks videos right in one playlist. My name is Nathan, and I'll see you guys next video or stream. Goodbye.